Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a VO2max field test. This is the 1 mile jog test. It's basically designed for 18 to 29-year-old male and female. What we're going to do is we're going to jog 1 mile at a very comfortable pace. Yeah, it's very important to emphasize that this is a sub-maximal test, not a maximal test, so that we're keeping our heart rate under 180 beats per minute. We want to make sure that we don't go over that, otherwise it turns into a maximal test. It's very important to do a 2 to 3 minute warm-up before beginning the assessment so that you can assess a comfortable pace and you start that. I've already done that. I jogged over here and did a few dynamic stretches before beginning. But again, we want to make sure we don't go over 180 beats per minute. The men want to shoot for an 8-minute mile, and the women want to go for aim for a 9-minute mile. This will give us an approximation of where we need to be and how fast we need to go to keep it at around that time. Now, if you're a little slower, that's fine, but you don't want to go and make the heart rate, the beats per minute go over 180. Equipment that's needed for this particular test is a 400-meter track. You also want to wear proper running clothes, running attire. Optional is a heart rate monitor. It just gives you immediate feedback when you're doing your run, to make sure that you're not going over the 180 beats. Something you want to also keep in mind is you want to have a stopwatch, and you want to have with the heart rate, we're also going to be taking it immediately after the run. So we'll do a carotid check, and we'll also do a radial check as far as how that goes. Once immediately after our run. So with that in mind, I think I pretty much covered everything. We're gonna make sure we get our run going on and get that out of the way. Make sure you have water, because it's a pretty hot day today. Thank you. Go. Last lap, right?
That was it.
I didn't carry it. So today, I just finished the field assessment. It's very important that I now take my heart rate. We're gonna do the carotid process using the carotid vein. And what we'll do is we'll count for 15 seconds and multiply that by 4 to get the equivalent of a minute. That way it's a little bit more accurate than trying to count each single one for a whole minute. Hold on. Okay, and then the other way we can do this is through the use of the radial artery. And what we're gonna do, again, the same thing, count for 15 seconds and then multiply that number by 4 of what you get. This takes a little bit of skill, so it's important that you practice on yourself first, finding and feeling it, so that you're able to do this a lot easier. Again, you count for 15 seconds and multiply that by 4. And according to my heart rate, I'm at 141 right now. So we'll go ahead and take these numbers, see what my time was for the for the mile that I just finished running, and we'll go ahead and plug that into the equation to go ahead and get that figure, the prediction equation, to go ahead and get that particular number that we're looking for. We also want to take the okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. It needs to be immediately after the mile, after you run your mile. And that's it. Let's go ahead and go back to the office. Okay, so up to this point, guys, we have done the field test. Now what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the numbers and figure out what that VO2 max for, in my particular instance, is. Now keep in mind and remember that this is for an 18 to 29-year-old males and females. So I kind of don't fit this criteria. However, we can get an approximation of what my VO2 max could be or possibly be. So I'm going to take you through the basically through the equation and show you where to plug in those numbers, and that way we can go ahead and figure that out. So if you'll notice, the 140 beats per minute was the heart rate. My body weight is at 77 kilograms. I ran that particular mile in 7 minutes and 58 seconds, which we go ahead and do take 58 seconds divided by 60, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, to get our minute. So our minute is 0.96, which then translates to a 7.96 minute mile. Again, this is in minutes. The equation also calls for male or female, the gender difference. If we do go ahead and it is a male, since in my case I will go ahead and substitute a 1 in the equation. So here we have the VO2 max equation, which is 100.5 minus 0.1636. Multiply that times the body weight, again in kilograms, minus 1.438 times the time it took in minutes to run that particular mile, minus 0.1928 times the heart rate in beats per minute, plus 8.344, and then the gender. This is where we're going to substitute that 1 that we saw over here over into this equation. So we're going to substitute a 1 here. So once we go ahead and work out the equation, substitute in the numbers, the total is going to be 100.5 minus 0.1636 77 times 77 kilograms minus 1.438 times 7.96 minutes. Again, this is the time in minutes it took me to run the mile, minus 0.1928 times 140. This is the beats per minute, plus 8.344 times 1. Once you go ahead and you start solving in the order of operations, you get 100.5 minus 12.5972 in kilograms, minus 11.45 minus 26.922 minutes, plus 8.344, which then in this equation would be 57.80 milliliters per kilogram per minute. Now that we have that, we can go ahead and say that in this particular setting that this was what this is what my VO2 max testing is. My VO2 max is. Again, consider this is an approximation, and I don't really fit the criteria for the 18 to 29 adults since I'm 41. And that is all. Thank you.